YouTube, how are you now? Got a BattleBit remastered time to kill chart for you guys. I did all the testing yesterday in the shooting range, gathering all the stats, put it all into a chart here. That way I could just compare the time to kill for the different armor values, different weapons, all that kind of stuff. So you got your weapons here, you got your damage, your rate of fire, DPS, damage per second, your bullets to kill, the different armor types. So 100 health, no armor, 112, 125, 143, 162. Those are different armor values that you can have depending on the class that you choose. So 62 armor is only available to like this work class, but like 43 armor, 25 armor, 12 armor is available to all the other classes. It's just locked behind like higher levels and stuff. And then the recon class, I believe, only has up to 12 armor for the chest. So the helmet armor varies as well, but we're not going into the helmet, headshot, all that kind of stuff. So bullets to kill based on the different armor, time to kill based on the different armors. So I am using the assumption that the armor acts as a durability protector. So it takes a certain amount of shots to break the armor, and then after that it takes a certain amount of shots to do 100 damage. So we're going on the basis that even 12 armor will protect against 31 damage to break the armor, and then you have to do 4 more shots to do 100 damage. So if it's not that way, so if durability is not the factor there, if it's just like 112 health, then it would be 1 less shot to kill for 31 damage, because 4 shots at 31 damage would be 124 damage. So that would be enough to take away 1 extra shot here, but it would be 1 extra shot here because it's not 125. But I am under the assumption that even 1 durability will stop all the damage from 1 bullet, and then the next bullet will do damage to the 100 health. So if that's not the case, then it'll just be 1 less shot to kill in some situations where the total is higher than if you were to do it separately as breaking the armor versus doing 100 damage to the body. So that's the assumption. There are a few situations here where that would be different if it's just health, but I'm going with the assumption that its armor value protects until the armor is broken, and then you have to do damage to the body to do the 100 health. So this is just all the weapons here. Just to go over it briefly, basically the fastest, so you got your time to kill here in milliseconds. The fastest time to kill is going to be red. If it's within 10 milliseconds, it'll be red as well, but then it'll denote the fastest time to kill will be in bold and italicized. Orange is 50 milliseconds, same thing. If there's different values here, the fastest will be bold, italicized. Yellow is within 100 milliseconds of the fastest. Light green is within 150 milliseconds. Dark green is within 200 milliseconds. Light blue is within 250 milliseconds. Dark blue is within 300 milliseconds, and then gray is outside of that. So I don't think anything goes into dark gray. So 350 milliseconds is, I believe, the biggest difference here in time to kill. So this is just the first damage drop off range. So the majority of the guns drop off at 75 meters plus. There are a couple guns, the Honey Badger, the AS Val, and the Scorpion Evo, that drop off at 50 meters. But the majority of these guns drop off at 75 meters plus. Some of them drop off beyond 100 meters. So this is just the first damage range. We're not going to go through all the different ranges because it is a progressive damage drop off, so that would be very difficult to test. The values will change very dramatically. It's not a steep drop off like Battlefield where it just drops off to one value. It progressively drops off at range. So this is just the first damage drop off. So guaranteed 50 meters plus for every gun, the majority 75 meters plus, and some of them even 100 meters plus. So on this side here, I've done the different damage values based on the muzzle attachments. So some muzzle attachments add damage, some muzzle attachments decrease damage. Not all of those make a difference in how many shots it takes to kill or the time to kill, but some of them do. So if it's denoted in gray, that means it does negatively affect it. So it would normally be 2 plus 4 shots to kill at 162 armor or 62 armor, whereas with the damage decreasing, it adds an extra bullet. So 3 shots to break the armor at 62 armor, and then 4 shots to kill the body. Whereas red means it improves the shots to kill, the time to kill. So the damage increase on the M4A1 gets you 1 less shot to kill against 62 armor support class players and improves your time to kill there. So some of them only make a difference in very small situations, whereas some of them make a big difference. So like on the FAMAS, it takes it from a 5-shot to a 4-shot by increasing it from 24 to over 25 damage. So it improves that gun considerably across the board against every type of armor, time to kill, that kind of stuff. So, and then the ACR, the damage decreases it in every situation. So 4-shot to kill, it takes it to a 5-shot to kill. So from 25 plus to below 25, now it's a 5-shot to kill, and that slows down the time to kill considerably there. So that's it in a nutshell. I only compare the assault rifles to the assault rifles, and then down here I compared the submachine guns with the personal defense weapons and the carbines together, since there's not as many of them. There's a ton of assault rifles, so I would have to scroll through and check every single value. So I just did it like that, and then I did the LMGs down here by themselves as well. So I'll just go through the list here real quick, see what stand out here on the assault rifles. So the standout here as far as pure time to kill goes to would be the FAL, but that gun also recoils really, really hard. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily a valid time to kill chart. So it could be really good up close, but as bad as it recoils, I wouldn't recommend it beyond medium range. So if you want to refer back to another video I did where I was testing all the weapons in the shooting range, comparing their recoil and stuff like that, you can. I'll link that down in the description. That way you can take a look at how they recoil and see if they're manageable enough for you, or if their recoil is a bit too much to take their time to kill out of consideration. Same for the Scar H. Scar H does have a bit of side-to-side recoil as well, so it has a pretty competitive theoretical time to kill here, but it also only has a 20-round magazine. You can upgrade to a 30-round mag as long as you level it up, but it still has quite a bit of side-to-side recoil. So beyond medium range, I wouldn't say that it is all that useful. The TTK would be only really valid within close to medium range. So all the other assault rifles are pretty much the same. The FAMAS is another standout here, but again, the FAMAS has quite a bit of recoil as well. It's not as unmanageable side to side as like the Scar H and the FAL. It's mostly vertical, but it's pretty gnarly vertical recoil, although that could be manageable. But it does have side to side bounce too at the longer ranges. So good up close, not as great at medium to long ranges. Whereas the majority of the other guns, like in the yellow, so all the mid-tier assault rifles are pretty consistent. So the M4A1, it may not have the fastest time to kill, but it's in there. It's within 100 milliseconds of the fastest time to kill in most cases. Not so great against like 43 armor and 62 armor as well, unless you're running the damage increase. But the recoil is manageable and it's consistent even at longer ranges. So theoretical time to kill is not always the go-to, but then some of the bad guns are like the AK-5C and the AUG A3, because the AUG A3 shoots so slow. It's only 500 rounds per minute. It does the same damage as like the AK-74, but that shoots 200 rounds per minute faster. So, but it has very little recoil. So I mean, even though it does have a slower time to kill, theoretically, if you have trouble controlling recoil, it could be a better gun for you, because the recoil is manageable and it shoots slow enough that your shots are going to be on target. So even though it's the worst pretty much in every category, it's not unusable because the recoil is so low. But a lot of the other guns that are mid-tier better, I would say, still have manageable enough recoil to not necessarily need the AUG A3. And the AK-5C is pretty bad as well, and it has more recoil than some of the other weapons too. So I would say, I mean, the majority of these guns are decent enough. So AK-74, M4A1, SG-550, that one has a little bit more recoil though. So AK-74, M4A1, G36, HK-419, you can't really go wrong with any of those. M4A1, easy choice, but maybe G36C, since it has a little bit better time to kill with that damage increasing muzzle attachment. So your choice though. And then we go into the SMGs, the PDWs, and the carbines here. So the standout here is the Scorpion Evo, but that gun recoils horrendously bad, like unbelievably bad. You're not going to be hitting any targets beyond like 20 meters unless you're bursting them, and then that negates this time to kill. So it has the fastest kill potential because it's 1200 rounds per minute and a 4-shot kill to the body with no armor. But the recoil is so bad that it's just not going to be useful beyond very, very close quarters. So it will dominate in very close situations. So as long as you're in small rooms or small, tight hallways, that kind of stuff, you will murk everybody with this gun. But beyond that, it's not going to be useful at all. So I wouldn't say it's going to be very useful, because to be useful in this game, since there's so many different ranges, it would have to be at least effective out to medium range. And it's not effective to medium range, so only usable up close, and even then it still recoils like a monster. So it may have the fastest theoretical time to kill, but realistically you're not going to be getting that time to kill in most cases unless you're point blank with the gun sticking directly into their body. So the next standout here is going to be the Chris Vector, obviously, because another 1200 round per minute, very high DPS, even though it's 5 shots to kill, 1200 rounds per minute. So, and the recoil is not too bad. So it does recoil quite a bit, but for as fast as it shoots, you can still be on target and hit your shots. So theoretical time to kill is still manageable. Maybe not so much at the longer ranges, medium to long range, but you can still hit those shots, but you're not probably going to be hitting all the shots because it does recoil pretty hard, pretty considerably to the left and the right. So horizontal recoils in there at the longer ranges as well. So, but within mid range, definitely manageable. Beyond that, maybe not as much, but you still should be able to get those kills, but you're not going to be getting the fastest theoretical time to kill because of that recoil. So the Groza is another standout here. Same for the MP7. MP7's less recoil than the Vector, so you can get those longer shots. You're still probably going to miss a couple shots at long range, but it's a little bit easier to hit those medium range shots. So another standout there. You don't want the damage decreasing muzzle on that one though, because that knocks down the bullets to kill and the time to kill in every situation there. So from 4 shots to 5 shots, you definitely don't want that. Same for the UMP45. Same for the PP19. Those kill the SMGs. So, but yeah, so that's a good one. The Groza is a really good one too. So that one has very little recoil as well, and it's also a higher damage gun. So it does 34 damage. So it's 3 shots to the body as long as there's no armor, but it shoots a little slower. So 650 rounds per minute. So not as forgiving as the faster firing guns like the MP7, which shoots at 950, but it's very high damage, can kill very quickly up close and even out to longer ranges because it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. But you just don't want to do the damage decrease again because that knocks the TTK down quite a bit. So P90 is also good, but that does have a bit of side-to-side recoil as well, but it also has a 50 round magazine, so a little bit more forgiving there in the overall damage department. And then the MP5 as well. So MP5 is a good middle ground, so it doesn't shoot as fast as like the MP7, but it has a lot less recoil. It's a lot more laser beamy, so it's pretty good out to mid-range and beyond. Even though the theoretical time to kill is not as good at the higher armor values, you're going to be able to hit more shots consistently because of the low recoil. So those would be the standouts, but again, any of these are usable. So even though, like the UMP45, even though its time to kill isn't in there with the faster killing guns, it has so little recoil that you're going to be hitting your shots. So it may not be the best up close, but at those medium to long ranges, it would be more consistent hitting the shots. So it really depends on how you want to play it. So if you can't manage the recoil on some of the faster killing guns, you can always stick with the steady, low recoil weapons that are consistent and able to hit those shots. So if you're not hitting your shots, the time to kill doesn't matter. Whereas if you're hitting the shots, that's what matters. So the UMP45 is very low recoil of all the guns. PP19 also has little recoil as well, but the UMP45 stood out as the lowest recoil there. So, and then the AS-Val, it does have a fast theoretical time to kill as well, but again, very high recoil. Also has lowered damage drop off, so it drops off at 50 meters instead of 75 plus. And then it only has a 20 round mag, so you can upgrade to a 30 round mag, but 20 rounds ain't going to cut it. And then the recoil is a lot more noticeable than the other guns as well, so that time to kill is not going to be as valid as some of the other ones. And then the LMGs, so the light guns for the support class. Standout here will be the L86A1 as far as pure time to kill, especially if you go with the damage increasing barrel attachment, because it drops it from 4 shots to kill to 3 shots, knocks it over 33.333, and that improves the time to kill considerably. So that makes it the fastest time to kill in every situation against every armor type. But the weapon does have a bit of side-to-side recoil, so beyond mid-range, it's not going to be as consistent hitting those shots because it does have a bit of side-to-side. And then MG36 is also good. It has noticeably less recoil than the L86A1, and it starts with a 40 round mag, so it's a little bit more forgiving in that department. It doesn't shoot as fast, so it's not as forgiving in that area, but it has 40 rounds to start with and up to a 60 round drum, whereas the L86A1 starts with 30 and can go up to like a 55 round drum. So more damage per mag, more max damage output, less recoil, but slower fire rate. So, and then the M249 and the Ultimax, they're not as great as far as pure time to kill goes, but they also have 100 round magazines. So if you're the type who just wants to keep putting lead down range and just dumping mass damage, those would be the guns to choose. They don't have bad recoil either, so it's manageable. So you can just put 100 rounds down range pretty easily on target and do a ton of damage, but they're just not as competitive in the pure time to kill department. So yeah, guess that's it for this video. It just helps me to put the values all into a chart and compare them and see how they stack against each other. So just to see what's good and what's not as good, you know. But again, recoil affects the time to kill as well, so it's just theoretical time to kill. If you're able to hit all your shots at full auto, that's what these time to kill values represent. So not all of them are going to be realistic, but as long as the recoil is manageable, then the time to kill is definitely possible. So standouts would be M4A1, definitely, G36 or HK419 if you unlock them later on. But M4A1 is a good starter for the assault rifle class. The FAL only if you're going to be using it in really close quarters, but beyond that, not as good. FAMAS as well, close quarters, good. MP7, Vector, MP5, Groza, all really fast killing, all manageable. And then like the UMP45, low recoil, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that's it for that. If I missed anything or did anything incorrectly here, just let me know down in the comments, because could have made mistakes, but I was trying to pay as close attention to it as possible. But again, like I said, it could be that the armor values don't work the way that I think they do, but I'm pretty sure that they do. But that would be hard to test outside of like private matches and stuff. So they don't have private servers. They don't have really any way to test how the armor works outside of live games. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.